Well, yet another opposition leader in Tanzania has been arrested. We're talking about a string of leaders who have lately been arrested by the government of President Samia Suluhu as Tanzania is nearing its general election. The general election in Tanzania is supposed to be held on the 29th of October 2025, just next week. And today we're talking about yet another leader who has just been arrested just hours ago. John Heche, the second in command of the Chadema party, has been arrested by the police officers, and this is coming just months after the leader of Chadema, Tundu Lissu, was also arrested by the government of the day and is still behind bars. Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you about that recent arrest of John Heche, as well as in this video, I'm going to tell you about that damning report that has been released by Amnesty International of the political crisis in Tanzania as the country closes in on the elections. Well, this is Bonafide. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe and hit that notification button so that when I release something new on Tanzania, you get notified as soon as possible. Where is John Heche? That is the question that many in the opposition camp in Tanzania are asking after their leader was arrested in public by the police officers just hours ago. The police officers in Tanzania have been arresting people who have dissenting sentiments against the government of the day. John Heche is not the only one who has been arrested by the government of the day. His leader, Tundu Lissu, was arrested months ago by the government, as well as a string of other people who have either been abducted, talk about Humphrey Polepole, as well as leaders who have come out to strongly criticize the government have been silenced by the government of President Samia Suluhu. In this recent arrest, John Heche was arrested while in Dar es Salaam while attempting to attend court proceedings related to the case against party chair Tundu Lissu, and subsequently transferred to Tarime amid claims that his alleged offense occurred there. Little has been known as to the reason why John Heche was actually arrested by the government of Samia Suluhu, but this is coming just days after John Heche tried to cross the border into Kenya to attend the burial of Raila Odinga, Kenya's former opposition leader, who was laid to rest just this weekend. Many in the opposition camp right now are expressing their fear over the reasons as to why the government is conducting these arrests against opposition party leaders as well as anyone who will come against the government of the day. Remember, Chadema was banned from participating in these coming general elections because they did not want to sign the election policies by the government of Samia Suluhu. And the fears by the opposition leaders are valid, because this is not the first time that a high-profile person was arrested in Tanzania for going against the policies of the government. Some have been arrested, some have been abducted, and they have undergone torture allegedly by the government of the day. Talk about the activists from Kenya and Uganda who earlier in the year went into Tanzania to try and listen to the case of Tundu Lissu. They were abducted and then they were tortured. That is the report that these activists came with as they were transferred back to their countries. Well, this is not the first time as well, as we're seeing a high-profile leader being arrested in broad daylight in Tanzania. Tundu Lissu was arrested. Tundu Lissu has undergone political persecution in Tanzania. And this is coming at a time when Amnesty International has declared the upcoming October 29th general election in Tanzania as, quote-unquote, unopposed, unchecked, and unjust, warning that the government of President Samia Suluhu has intensified repression of opposition leaders, civil society, journalists, and human rights defenders through arbitrary arrests, politically motivated charges, and forced disappearances, and restrictions on freedom of assembly, expression, and the press, fueling widespread fear and cynicism among political dissidents. And it is not only opposition leaders who have faced the brutal force coming from the government. Even people who worked close in the power trappings in Tanzania who have gone against the government have also faced the brutal force coming from the government itself. Talk about the former ambassador of Tanzania to Cuba, Humphrey Polepole, who stood up against President Samia Suluhu and the policies by the government. He was abducted just recently by people who he alleged that were government officials. Therefore, these actions by the government of the day is what is making organizations like Amnesty International to come up with these harsh statements regarding the political crisis in Tanzania. Well, I will continue to keep you informed of the latest of what will come out from that latest arrest of John Heche, the second in command in the Chadema party, as well as I will keep you updated of the political crisis that is undergoing in Tanzania as they close in on the general elections. Keep it bona fide.